We're here at the ACI Congress in Budapest. It's the 27th of May 2011 and we're interviewing Nick Dyne of logicscope, who's in charge of business development. Thank you, Nick, for your time. Nick, tell us a little bit about logicscope and what you do.
Okay, so logicscope provides post-trade messaging and integration services for the FX market. We have about 60 FX venues that publish transactions to us across single banks, ECNs, voice brokers, so on, and we deliver those messages to now about 400 end-user clients, the bulk of which are banks, but also hedge funds, some corporates, some real money managers, and some prop trading environments. We cover everything from spot all the way through to exotic options, and we're finding business is pretty good at the moment, I have to say.
Cool, so is the FX space expanding rapidly in your opinion?
Actually, what we're seeing is, I think, two trends. The original core business, which was providing the STP connections, grew very quickly in the early part of our development, partly because the bank's electronic platforms were relatively new. And now it's slowing down a little bit in terms of the acquisition of new clients, having 400 or so now. We're finding ourselves really doing more connections for existing clients rather than getting new clients. Also, the whole issue about clearing has caused banks and the regulators to essentially seize up in terms of new activity until it becomes really clear what's actually going to be happening, which hopefully will become obvious to all of us in the next couple of months. And then there'll be not enough time to do all the work that needs to be done, and hopefully things should be getting back to a normal growing keel.
Excellent. And do you find an event like this, the ACI Congress, is a useful place to meet and greet with potential customers?
Yeah, it is. The truth is that you spend a lot of your time when you're actually working not doing anything particularly useful. When you find yourself in places like this, it gives you an opportunity to get to know your clients in a way that you would never be able to do when you're behind a desk or on a phone. So yeah, I mean, we've found it very valuable already. We've been able to definitely improve the relationships we have with some of the major single bank vendors that we provide services to. We've also been able to cut a couple of deals as well, so it's been very, very good for us.
And I assume your space is mainly institutional. Do you also cater to the retail broker?
We do retail flows into the institutions. So we have actually quite a few of them. We've got a number of Japanese and European retail brokers where not only are we providing the connectivity, post-trade connectivity into the large banks, but also providing services like ticket compression, so that the cost associated with the processing of the retail flow is massively reduced.
So could you just take us through that and give us a brief introduction, because a lot of retail brokers don't actually know what ticket compression is, and it's becoming increasingly popular in some parts of the market.
Absolutely. So the issue from a large sell-side bank point of view is a very simple one, which is that they've got systems which are not designed to handle zillions of tickets, and the explosion in the retail flows over the last few years have led to some back offices becoming genuinely kind of overwhelmed. And the other problem is that the ticket sizes are relatively small, you know, $10,000, $50,000.
Even $1,000.
Yeah. Sometimes $1,000, right? So the margins are wafer thin on this type of business. And frankly, the processing cost of those small tickets is too great. And so the technique that one uses is essentially over either a period of time or up to a notional amount to aggregate the tickets into a single ticket and then deliver that single ticket into the sell-side bank's back office environment. And you either do that on a bilateral basis, or in a number of cases the retail broker is also being primed as well, so you then need to be able to coordinate with the prime broker and ensure that they're able to see that same ticket compression, so that there's then a subsequent capability to be able to match tickets and clear and settle.
And how do you, when you say ticket compression, if say a client deals at 146.20 and then another client deals at 30 and 15, and how do you match those with the actual market if you're not passing the trade?
What you do, we're doing it post-trade. So all we're doing here essentially is a huge rolling up of a VWAP on what are the trades. So essentially at the end of it, let's say you've got a rule which is that you want to go and deliver a ticket every 10 minutes, unless the ticket size is more than half a bar, or if you're over $10 you want to go and release the ticket anyway. So those are the three rules that you're looking at, and what you're going to do is essentially roll those tickets up so you have an average price for all of those transactions. Okay, it's not possible to net these because of the rules associated with subsequent processing downstream with CLS. So what we're doing is we're aggregating all of the currency buys or all of the currency sells under those particular rules.
Okay, so it just allows the bank to sort of basically net out all these smaller transactions, and then just take one ticket price.
Yeah, absolutely. And the issues, I mean, we've got some clients who actually do this on a one-day basis. That is to say that essentially they will deliver one ticket at the end of the day. One of the innovations that we have done recently is to enable the aggregation process itself, the compression process itself, to be varied according to the volatility of the currency pair. And the idea behind that is to ensure that neither party finds themselves exposed to too much intraday clearing risk in what might actually be quite a volatile market. And that's certainly, I think, a benefit for all concerned. And it really does depend upon the nature of the beast here. So yeah, so we've got a couple of Japanese brokers who are basically doing it on a daily basis. We've got some other clients who really are doing it on a 10-minute, 15-minute basis, and really are just trying to...
It's very much up to the client.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And what, say a broker who's doing, 5,000 transactions a day, little tickets, comes to you, what kind of money do you charge per million, or how does that work?
No, although actually we have recently had a client that did want to actually get charged per million. We charge on a per ticket basis, and there's a sliding scale on the number of tickets either per day or per month or whatever, and we don't charge for the aggregation activity per se, and frankly the tickets on the other side are relatively small. If there's a lot of tickets on the other side, you wouldn't really be doing your job. So, and I have to say 5,000 a day would be a small broker. I mean, I think that we would be expecting to see flows of anything north of about 20,000 trades a day, really to make it worthwhile undertaking the activity.
And that's obviously becoming increasingly popular with small brokers wanting to deal with the bigger banks who really can't take that kind of small flow.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And the nightmare that everybody in the FX market kind of looks at, and I think that's going to become a more likely scenario as we have central clearing, is that the bargain size is reduced in the same way that they did in equities, as equities became a rather more electronic and centralised market. And at the moment, I think the average bargain size in the wholesale market is just under $1. And imagine if it went down to, like it is in the equities business, $50,000, it would they wouldn't be able to cope. There'd be 20 times more tickets. And the economics of the back office processing just really doesn't cater for that level of activity.
And isn't there inevitably some netting functionality involved? I mean, if they're getting one ticket with an average price, they're...
Yeah, but the thing is, you're netting on either buys or sells. CLS, we've got some relatively strict rules about the netting across buys and sells. I mean, netting is not technologically an issue, so it's just rules that are preventing it.
So you aggregate the buys and the sells separately?
Yeah, but you can't go, you're not, although people do, you're not really supposed to, if you're going to clear through CLS, settle through CLS, sorry, you're not supposed to also net across the buys and sells, so you actually have what is a net currency transaction. And I'm sure that there's very good reasons for that. I just can't remember what they are, I'm afraid.
Right.
Last CLS.
Okay. Are there any other major trends that you see affecting the market in the next year or two?
Oh yeah, the big one's client clearing. And the issues are, what is the architecture necessary to deliver centrally cleared FX tickets into the CCPs? Do the current FX prime brokers find themselves being gateways? Are they informed after the event, as the FCM model has it at the moment? Who's going to be providing those services? And perhaps the most important thing is whether it's good for the market or not. Are we going to see an increase in options flow? We're going to see NDFs becoming more or less popular? And are particularly institutional clients, are they going to say, well, if I'm going to clear my options and my NDFs, I might as well clear my swaps and my forwards as well? And actually what we see is a migration to a centrally cleared model for large segments of the FX market. And nobody knows this, and there's lots of speculation. In fact, now is the best time to speculate because nobody knows what the rules are. In 2 months' time, we'll have to abide by rules, and so the opportunity for idle speculation will have passed in some areas. So 2013 is going to be a big year for the FX industry in the post-trade space. And that means that 2012 is going to be very busy for us and companies like us as we build the necessary pipework in order to engineer that change.
And do you think there is any negative impact in this centrally cleared environment that's coming our way?
A bit like Mao Zedong, isn't it? About the French Revolution, too early to tell. But in this case, it really is too early to tell.
Right. Well, Nick, thank you very much, and much appreciated.
Cool. Thanks for listening.
Cheers.